Hello Puppet fans! And welcome to this lecture. In this lab we will use the Puppet pipeline to build, test and deploy the Node.js application. So in this lecture we will use Node.js application to build and deploy on your AWS EC2 instance through Puppet pipeline. There are multiple examples have given for other applications too. So not only Node.js, you can also perform the testing with other applications listed on Puppet website. Or you can build your own application and can test with Puppet pipeline. So let's start with step 1. Prepare server for deployment. But we perform this step once the project will be ready in Puppet pipeline, so let's start with step 2. In which we have to fork and clone the Node.js repo from GitHub on any server which can talk to GitHub. Alright, so run the command git clone https://github.com/distelli/node.js/build-deploy, which will create a copy of your module in your local server. Now go to example node directory and run git add. Next, switch to production branch. Run git checkout b production. And then commit the changes git commit mnode.js. Since no changes were made, so we have clean directory and have nothing to commit. Now check and remove remote cloned repo. Run git remote remove origin to remove the remote repo. Now create a new repository in your GitHub account and name it as example nodes. And add the example nodes repo on your local server. And push the changes in example nodes production branch. Refresh the page and you will see the complete module. Since we are done with cloning, we will edit the pipeline's manifest. For that we will edit the distelli manifest.yml of GitHub example nodes module. And we'll replace the username placeholder with your pipeline's username and we'll commit the changes in production branch. Since we're done with the manifest file, so now let's create the application. Click New App and select your GitHub module and repository, which will be example node, then use specific branch. Like in my case, I am going to use a production branch. Then we need to configure the build steps. So you have two options to build the application. One is Docker and second is old school method to build with EC2 instance. We can choose any option, so I will go with Docker. In advanced user I am going to use distelli manifest.yml because I have already mentioned the steps into distelli manifest.yml. So I don't need to provide the user steps again. Now in build image choose pipelines JavaScript. Click on auto build. Review build configuration and click on start build. Once done, Puppet will start creating a build with build ID and will perform the release and push steps. So when it's busy creating the build, let's add a node in test or development environment to use with auto deploy. Select new Amazon EC2 instance. Add EC2 credentials. Select region. Select instance type. Here I have selected T2 Micro next. Select OS image as Ubuntu as my Node.js code has dependency of Ubuntu. Next configure VPC. Select subnet. Select key pair and IAM role. Add tag to your EC2 instance. Next add environment because I haven't created any environment, so I left it blank as of now. Once my EC2 will be launched, I will add the environment to my EC2 instance. Now select the number of instances and click on Launch. Validate if launch was successful and EC2 created in AWS and showing in pipeline servers field or not. Now we will add environment and we'll add the EC2 instance created for this lab to our environment. So now click on Environments, give a name to your environment and add a server to that environment. So now once our build is ready, it should be auto-deployed in our test environment to make pipeline working from code changes to deploy and dev to production. Right. So now click on Create a Target and add an existing environment. So now we have to test if code commit will fire a test build or not. So let's go to our example node repo and we will make a small change in README file, as it's just a README. So our build will not get failed if there is an editing mistake. So here I will add few words like testing and will commit the changes. Once done, you will see a new build started automatically, and after a while deploy will be started on your test environment. And you can see the progress of your build too and the installation logs like pre and post. After a while it will show if your build was successful or not. In our case, build failed in post-install due to cert untrusted issue. Because it's just a test build, I am going to ignore the certificates for our testing. So go to your manifest YAML file again and align npm config set strict SSL false. Preview the changes and commit the code. Once code is committed, your build will start again from build an application to deploy it. This time deploy was successful. So now the build completed, it's the time to validate the changes. So first verify if you are able to ping your EC2 public IP and inbound rules are allowed for HTTP traffic. If yes, open your DNS or IP in web browser and it will open a simple Node.js page. Great! So we have successfully tested the pipeline for auto build, test, and deploy. Okay, so in this section we have configured the Node.js application through Puppet pipeline. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have time, feel free to move on to next lecture.